So that's one way that they teach covenant. The other way in which they got me was they say, Joe, when you're in covenant with us, and again, it's really idolatrous because they're saying, Jesus is not my source. Actually, the bishop is my source. So this is actually a backhanded, idolatrous, blasphemous relationships, but this is how they teach it. And so not only do they teach covenant that way, but they also do it like this. They say, Joe, when you're in covenant with us, you know when you're in covenant with something, you know as the generations go on, or as the anointing runs downhill, if you will, Joe, the anointing or the covenant gets bigger. It expands as it goes along. And this is what was told to me. They said, Joe, you know how Abraham had two sons. Abraham had Isaac and Ishmael. But then Isaac had two sons, right? You know, Esau and Jacob later became Israel. But then Israel had 12 sons. And then those 12 sons had kids, and they eventually became the whole entire nation of Israel. So you see, Joe, how when you're in covenant, you know, that when it rolls downhill, if you will, see how it gets bigger? It goes from 2 to 2 to 2 to 12 to 12 to like infinity, right? Like as you go on, Joe, this thing blows up. So you see how when they were in covenant, you see how the lineage expands and expands and expands and gets bigger as you go forward? And I'm like, yeah. And this is what was told to me. Because of that, Joe, guess what? Bishop has a church of like 1,200 members. I'm probably going to have a church of like this is my father in the faith talking. I'm going to have a church of like 4,000 members. But Joe, you're going to have a church of like 8,000 members, Joe. Because again, when you're in covenant, the covenant expands as you go along. So if Bishop's got 1,200, I'm going to have 4,000. And you're going to have 8,000, Joe. Saints, that's what was told to me. Now keep in mind, this is not being said behind the pulpit on Sunday morning. This is behind closed doors in the hotel room back at the hotel. So this was being told to me in my hotel room back at the hotel when the conference was over for that particular night, because this was actually at a conference. So we did all the stuff at the conference. When the conference was over for that night, we went back to the hotel. And back at the hotel, it was told to me, Joe, you know, they had 2 kids and they had 2 kids and they had 12 kids, and then those 12 kids became the whole entire nation. So Joe, it's going to go from 1,200 to 4,000, 8,000. Joe, you're going to have an 8,000 member church, Joe. That's what was told to me behind closed doors back at the hotel room. Again, they won't tell you this in the conference, but they'll tell you that back in the hotel. I learned later on what this really was. This was a form of networking or indoctrination or grooming. They were grooming me to be the next big thing in the Word of Faith Prosperity Gospel movement. This was like the very, very grassroots of it. And this is how they do. How do mega pastors happen? A lot of times they don't happen overnight. A lot of mega pastors are made. They're made because they are groomed, because they're introduced, they are networked to other people, and they are made. Okay? I was also told in that meeting, see, Joe, you know, when the microphone's being passed, when Bishop prophesies and when that mic comes to me, I'm going to prophesy and I'm going to exhort. Well, Joe, when the mic comes to you, you should have took the mic too, Joe, because you should have prophesied and you should have exhorted too. And the reason you need to do that, Joe, is so you could be put in front of the people, so the people get to know who you are, so the people can see you, so they know who you are, so you can be put in front of the people. Why? So the people can get used to you. They can get used to your voice. They can get used to your preaching. Therefore, people will start to like you. And therefore, when you get your church, people want to come to your church because they've been listening to you for years through your bishop and through your father in the faith, or whoever it was. So a lot of these mega churches and mega pastors are made because of the network and the introducing, and because of the grooming. I got that at the very grassroots level. Okay? I was being groomed to be the next big thing. And my point is, it's all because of this misinterpretation or misinformation regarding covenant. Because the covenant gets bigger as it rolls downhill. Now, how does that apply to pastoring, and how does that apply to churches? How do Abraham's kids and Isaac's kids and Jacob's kids and the nation of Israel, what has that got to do with being a pastor and the size of a church you're going to pastor? Absolutely nothing. It's completely taken out of context. It means absolutely nothing, but this is how it was taught to me.